Hi guys, I'm Shmi, hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me here today in Miami at We Are Curated to catch up with John Temerian to take a look around the most incredible of showrooms. The cars that are here are mind-blowing. Even outside, we've got the Aston Martin DB4 GT, we've got a Murcielago R-GT, and just inside the showroom windows is a straight-piped Ferrari Enzo that we're going to hear with a cold start before we take it out. Then after that, I'm going to pick one of the incredible cars from inside to go for a drive with as well. Firstly though, let's head in. There is a lot to show you. Hey John, how's it going?
Great, and you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me to visit this incredible display. You've got a full house going on at the moment.
We are slightly packed right now. We just finished the Miami Concours, so as you can see, we got an assortment of our vintage Lamborghinis, which we specialize in, and some wacky supercars. So it's a perfect time for you to be in Miami.
You've got everything from the first Lambo, the 350 GT, through the Diablos, Countach's, Miura SV we're going to take a look at.
Very special car.
And even right here, the Ferrari Enzo as well.
I mean, honestly, right now doesn't get better than this in my eyes. So definitely the Ferrari Enzo. I mean, let's face it, one of the most timeless Ferrari supercars of our time. We've got, again, this is a piece of art. This is one of the first Countach's produced, 1976 production, the LP400 Periscopio. As you can see, it's got the little periscope window on the roof. Very rare color too, Arancio with blue. That's original colors.
Originally in orange with the blue interior.
It doesn't get better. Cool. It's just so cool, so 70s. I'm absolutely in love with this car. Here is not just any 550 Barchetta, this is actually one of the original prototypes. So really? It's 001, and then I think it's like P3, so prototype 3. So very, very special car that we sold earlier this year. And then, another incredible Ferrari, one of 8 in this color. It looks like almost like a modern spec in many ways.
It does.
But it's Azzurro Dino over blue interior. So cool, so shocking. And let's face it, the Daytona is a very awesome car. And then, I mean, what else can you say? Porsche 959. This is one of the Canepa reimagination cars. So it's a 959 SC. So they refitted this car, repainted it, interior, etc. I think it's like 800 horsepower now. This is not our car, this is a client's car, but we did just buy a 1900 mile 959 that'll be arriving soon. So very, very cool to have this here. We're not really Porsche experts, as you can see, but love the 959.
I'm just gonna have to interrupt you for a moment. Every single car has a story. Every car is special with something behind it.
Thank you, and that's honestly what we try to do. You know, this is less like a dealership and more of truly like we're historians. We try to document interesting cars and interesting histories. So as we go through here, obviously we love Diablos, SC30, 150 for the world. There was about 40 or 50 made in this incredible purple metallic color, which the factory color is called Lambo 30. And then
Viola SC30, it's a color close to my heart. I've been thinking about it for my STO even. That's one of the options.
Is Blue Alcantara, which was, again, imagine in 1993 when this car was launched, that was pretty shocking. I mean, it's shocking today, but basically Lamborghini's version of the F40, a race car for the street.
So this was the original launch spec of the car?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we might have to do something more with that a little bit. XJ220s, I spot you've got 2 here, because there's another one.
So we've had like 10 or 11 of the XJ220s in the US. There's probably like 20, 22 that are in the US.
Half of them.
We've had a few.
That's insane.
Stunning blue example. We have 2 more silver cars in the back for service. Another blue car that's here for a few little cosmetic things from a good client. And an XJR15 in the corner. So we love Jags as well, and really any wacky supercar. 550 Maranello manual, love these cars. Oh.
The Miura SV.
This is not just any Miura SV. This is a car that we chased for years. 10,000 original miles, original paint, original interior. It still has its original tires preserved in the back. This is a holy grail car for us. I don't think you'd find a better one in the world today. I've inspected a lot of them. The rubber's original. I mean, even the original sticker, the warranty sticker is on the windshield. It does not get more stunning than this car
Yeah.
in my eyes. So definitely an honor to have this car, and you're actually one of the first people to see this car
Really?
live in public. So definitely a piece of our history. And then again, more Diablos. One of the early, I think this is like a 5,000 or 6,000 mile car. One of the early cars. Again, another 6.0 later Diablo. This is sort of a great progression between 1990 and 2001. Sort of you see how the model changed. Another Countach. This is a 2,000 mile car that we recently sold. Right behind me here. I mean, this does not get cooler. I think everybody calls it what, the Rambo Lambo.
Yep.
The LM002. This is one of the more interesting stories that we've had. We bought a collection from a gentleman that in 1987 started buying 80s crazy iconic cars and putting them away. This car has its original tires, 1,000 original miles. It still has the factory plastic Lamborghini seat covers on the seats. Pearl white on red. I mean, it doesn't get more 80s, more ostentatious than this car, and it's a time capsule. So definitely a cool car.
I was just gonna say one other thing. One of the things a lot of people don't realize is the engine in this is from this.
Yes. Yeah, and really, it a lot of people also don't realize it did serve as an off-road vehicle. I mean, they were using these in sand dunes and stuff like that. We also have the Dakar Rally LM02 that's going through a restoration now. So it didn't win the race and maybe wasn't the most successful, but they were running these cars in rallies and going off-road, etc. Here's a few of some projects that we're working on.
Another
Obviously,
SE30.
Another SE30. This is the only car produced with cream interior for the US. A 1 of 10 Diablo Millennium Edition. A Diablo little hot rod project we're working on. Most everything here is original, untouched, except for this car. And then behind us we have, I mean, we can't ignore this, Bugatti EB110 GT. Very early, this was one of the developmental cars. It was an early prototype. It was one of the factory's cars. Such a cool car. I mean, V12, quad turbos, low miles again, similar to that Diablo Roadster, 1,200 original miles. Came from a really important collection. So as you see, we like low miles, we like preservation cars. And then probably, and this is a bold statement, but probably one of the most exciting cars that I've ever gotten a call and then eventually able to purchase. This is the original Lamborghini Countach that was used at the Monaco Grand Prix in 1981 and 1982. It was owned by Jean-Claude Mimran, who actually owned the Lamborghini factory with his brother in the 80s. So it's got just incredible gobs of history, 4,000 or 5,000 original miles. We're trying to keep it all original paint. We're just gonna clean up everything. As you guys can see, another Countach in service, another Diablo 6.0. And under the cover, if you wanna follow along our Curated TV YouTube channel, we're working on this project and we just started launching a series. And this is, you know this car
I know
very
this car very well.
This is F50 001, first production F50, the only F50 to come with a yellow stripe from the factory. It was made for Jean Blaton, who was a famous Belgian race car driver, and a lot of his race cars, Ferrari race cars in the 60s and 70s had yellow accents, etc. So we're doing a full feature restoration on this car for YouTube, and it's gonna be very, very exciting. And then, obviously, listen, Verde Miura, doesn't get cooler than a Verde Miura, and then you got a Murcielago manual and 2 more XJ220s.
In for service. This is just amazing. I mean, obviously the F50 belongs to our mutual friend Dennis. I did come out and drive this car with him. It's almost 2 years ago now. F50 is one of my absolute favorites. What a stunning display of cars.
Thank you.
I'm completely gobsmacked.
Ready to hear one of the best sounding Enzos in the world?
I cannot wait. 6-litre V12, straight pipe, car that is driven and used, and we are going to enjoy this sound right now as John starts it up. back as well. This is incredible. Okay. Do you mind if I hop in?
Of course.
Let's do this. Butterfly doors, carbon tub. Gosh. Take a step. Carefully does it. This is just so raw and pure, isn't it?
I think this car essentially is the last of this generation of these raw supercars. I mean, look, there's no radio. You have 4 vents for the AC. The windows are
still
roll up,
yeah.
roll up windows. I mean, this is, you could call it in many ways the end of an era.
Yeah.
And maybe manufacturers will one day maybe go back to these cars, but this is as, you know, radical as you can get. This is almost like an IMSA car, a race car with a license plate.
And that sound, you're in first gear at like 10 miles an hour. 6-speed automated manual gearbox. I forgot quite how infinitely cool it is being sat in here.
This is pure race car. I mean, even you look at the details on the dash.
The way everything's kind of cut out and the openings, weight saving, why have it if you don't need it, right?
Exactly. And it's, you know what, it's actually quite comfortable. You don't feel claustrophobic or anything like that. You know, the seats are, I mean, these are obviously the standard Ferrari race seats, but again, I don't feel like I've given up anything, but I am essentially in a race car.
The fastest possible car that Ferrari could make in the early 2000s.
Yes, and I also think it changed. Listen, this design was so shocking then. People hated it. I don't know if you remember. It was like...
controversial.
Yeah.
Edgy.
It was edgy. And now I think it's aged so perfectly well. I think you even talk to the most conservative of Ferrari collectors and they call it timeless. And I believe that's what the Enzo's done.
Surprisingly well, you know.
It's actually not bad, right? It's you know, the gearbox is obviously, this was the early Magneti Marelli, the F1 transmission similar to the 360. Obviously this has got a few more software updates and tweaks, but it's essentially the same system. So that can be maybe a touch clunky, but it's still you know, this is reaction.
I think are they even Italian?
I think they might be Italian. I think they might be Italian.
Wow.
Wild, right?
I mean, wow is the only word, really. That sound is so grumbly and intoxicating. As we go past some cruise ships here in Miami. Absolutely insane. Totally crazy.
So do you want to take the wheel?
Serious?
Dead serious.
Yes, please. That sounds pretty epic to me. Okay. I guess I better compose myself slightly. Alright, time to hop on out then for the moment. Open up the door. This is oh, that's cool actually, seeing the door hinge. This is absolutely crazy to be taking the Ferrari Enzo for a quick run. This is insane. I've got comfortable. We've swapped roles. Thank you, John, for holding the camera. Right, park brake off, into gear, pulling the paddles, all comfortable. And here we go. Ferrari Enzo next to a gigantic cruise ship as well. That sound. This is definitely going to be a taking it easy at first. Let's get a little bit comfortable with this thing. So this was one of the first cars with the indicators on the steering wheel. There's a whole lot of things like that you have to remember. This feels a little bit mental, I'm not gonna lie. Sitting here to neutral while sitting still. is such a powerful sound. That's only halfway up the rev range as well. The spontaneous moment, I find myself holding the steering wheel of a Ferrari Enzo. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
I'm just going to work out a little bit of what we've got to be doing. We're going to do a U-turn here and then head back in the other direction. But I mean, when you're just sitting inside here, and you know this because you've driven a number of these, it's so raw in a way that even the LaFerrari isn't.
Yes.
And the next generation certainly won't be. Everything just feels more built for purpose.
It's totally a purpose-built car. I mean,
and not loaded with all stuff you don't need.
No.
Such an era. And it's such an iconic design as well. The wing mirrors, literal wing mirrors, being out, sitting high over the wings as opposed to out on the doors. Everything about this is just, I mean, it's just mental, really, isn't it? Absolutely mental. Feels like race car, even down to the buttons that we have over here on the steering wheel, where they're all set up for race and traction and even reverse and the lift and everything. Even sitting still in it feels special. We're not even going anywhere.
I always say with driving a car like this, it's an experience. It's more than, you know, you're not just jumping in it and going somewhere. It is like an event in itself. Taking a car out like this, and you also feel, I think, a level of responsibility.
Yes,
you know, you do.
Value and rarity.
It's part of history. You're like, I am spearheading this piece of history.
What a view! What a place! Being here in Miami with you, past the cruise ships. Bonkers! Absolutely bonkers! I just want this light to go green so that we can start. There we go. So we can drive. So let's do a U-turn here. All the way around we go. Empty road in front of us, but we'll take it easy. That feeling of the power. Linear, naturally aspirated V12 glory. What a whale. What an absolute whale. And I think we can even pop it into race mode with the press of the button on the steering wheel, and it sharpens sharpens up the shifts even more. But I'm most impressed by the ride quality. Where it goes over bumps in the ground is actually really good.
It's wild.
That downshift is mental. That made everyone jump behind. The sound is just absurd. Cars like this are what it's all about. I think everything we go past is just like, what is it?
Thumbs up. Yeah, there's no
that burble in first gear. Obviously suspension noises, as are typical with cars like Enzo's, but you can also smell it. You can smell you're in a Ferrari Enzo. I mean, if this is how much fun it is just driving it gently around Miami like this. Absolute dreamland. I cannot thank you enough for this. I was not expecting to be driving an Enzo today.
You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome.
And you just know how loud that is outside as well, don't you? You're in first gear, I mean, not even going fast. That's the thing, you don't need to.
And then we're gonna take a left at the light right there.
Oh, what a cool feeling. Proper engine, proper car. Total opposite of something like that. Rolls Royce
The
Tour,
exact
Lamborghini Urus.
opposite. The exact opposite.
as we pull back with your amazing lineup of cars outside as well. Countach, Pista, EB110 GT. Yeah. It's just silly.
Welcome to Miami, Tim.
Thank you.
Welcome to Miami.
Good place to be. A quick apology. I should have remembered it's 399 units and a 400th of the Enzo. It's 499 La Ferraris and a 500th La Ferrari has been made as well. But stepping out, what a thing this is. It's edgy shapes and lines just all around while we were driving. The spoiler is pivoted up ever so slightly as well. Just listen to it here. Burbling away. What a sound, what a feeling, what an insane car, and what a day. I did not think I was going to be driving this today. Just listen to this as the car heads back here at We Are Curated. This is just insane. And that's also insane. The R-GT, the Countach, that's the DB4 GT continuation run, by the way, one of 19-year-old cars, new car in effect. Just listen to that thing barking away in the background. And then the 560 SEC with a 6-litre sister to the Well, that was awesome, but the car is now back here at We Are Curated. A huge thanks, John. That was just epic.
Thank you. We had a great day today.
You bet we did. And guys, if you'd like to see some more of the cars and the stories as well,
Curated TV on YouTube, and mostly vintage Lamborghini content, but a ton of wacky supercars as well.
talking of which, I think next time, that's calling my name.
You have to.
I'd love to. I'd love to drive. Love to drive a Diablo, especially the SE30 in the wonderful Viola paintwork. All right, thank you very much, John. Appreciate it an awful lot.
Ben. Take care.
Guys, Ferrari Enzo, straight pipe, absolutely epic. But that is it for this time. Thank you very much for watching, as always, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.